Hey, Lizzy, is this you?
This is me. How you doing?
Very well, man. This is Jeff Olson. It's great to chat with you. All right, man. Here we go. 1983 to now. We're looking at 30 years. Of course, you did a little bit just before Lizzy Borden. How does it feel, man? How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel better than ever. I mean, we're excited about doing this Summer of Blood tour, and still making music better than the last. You know, we just keep making. We hope we keep making records better than the one before that. So, we're feeling good about everything. And there's such a resurgence for Lizzy Borden right now in Europe, and we're starting to make headway here in the States to bring back the old fans and create a whole bunch of new ones.
That's great. That's kind of why we brought you on here. We're looking at July 3rd through August 6th. I have a bunch of dates: Oklahoma City, Providence, Rhode Island, Greensburg, PA, Townsend, Maryland, Clifton, New Jersey, Toronto, Ontario, Akron, Ohio, Cleveland, Peabody's. That's a great... Oh, God, it's going to be hot there. Indianapolis, Crest Hill, Illinois, Michigan, St. Paul, Minnesota, Denver, Colorado, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Awesome there. Garden Grove, and then Seattle.
Yes.
All over the place.
We're all over, and it's just it's going to be an amazing tour. I think we weren't even planning on doing it. We were writing the next record and trying to create that, and then we just said, do we want to spend the whole summer writing when we could just go out and play? So we created the Summer of Blood, and here we are.
Awesome. So it's Summer of Blood. It sounds really intense. Digging it.
It's a fun show. I mean, this show we've been working here and in Europe, and we finally got it to where we really love it. And then we've added, for this tour, we've added a whole bunch of different things. There's more theatrics and more different songs that we have never played before. Some of them we haven't played before, and some of them we haven't played for a long time. So it's pretty interesting.
It sounds it. I wish I could see it. I'm gonna miss it on this particular romp, I think. So, we're there's other reasons, man. But no one should miss this at all. This is going to be an intense Lizzy Borden tour, I can tell already. And let's get into some history about that to bring people back up to what's going on and why they need to get out and see you. Here's the deal. Any outstanding moments in your career that you would like to talk about? I'm going to try and dig out a few of my own for you. But right now, what would be some memories or most outstanding moments that you'd like to think about?
Well, the last tour we did in Europe was absolutely amazing last summer. It was so fun. It was the most fun we ever had. We started out at the Wacken Festival in Germany. I mean, there was the attendance, I think, is 74,000 people. And it was just insane to start your tour there. And then we went and visited just so many different countries. A lot of them we have never played before, and it was just it was, to me, the best time we ever had on tour. And we've been touring for a lot of time, so it really, we had right chemistry within the band. We had everything that we needed, and the weather was interesting, and then the whole thing was perfect. And then we went back and did a winter tour where it was freezing, but it was still just as fun.
Awesome. In your history, any regrets or losses along the way? I can think of two of them, losses, but anything about your history that felt rough, or felt like, I don't know, a sad note about being in this career?
Well, I mean, this is no easy job, that's for sure. I mean, just to keep moving and keep working, you have to do. There's lots of self-sacrifice. You have to do so much just to keep things going, even for the simplest things. And so it hasn't been easy. We've never really had a manager, so we pretty much had to do everything ourselves. The promotion has always been not where we needed it to be. So we've had to fight for everything we've had. That's why like the song "Me Against the World" is so fitting for not only me but the band. It's always been that fight. It's never been handed to us. Everything that we've ever done, we've had to work for. And then there's been losses. You know, we lost Alex Nelson and Corey James, just two great friends, unbelievable talented people, and that was a huge blow to us. But
two different times in your history, right? Losing two guitar players at two different times, tragically, right? That's the story?
Yeah, and oddly enough, that was from the same lineup. You know, those two guys were inseparable. They were such great friends during the time that they were in the band, and so out of all the guitar players we've had, all the different musicians we've had in this band, those two were inseparable. They were such great friends, so that made it even worse to have it. It was a double whammy right there, just like a huge blow to us.
All right, one last early question. Back when you're thinking about forming, Lizzy Borden, and we know that you have always been with your brother, Joey, right? What was a driving reason for a theatrical style of heavy metal? Did you do any acting, or what's your spiel on Lizzy Borden's, entertainment, the show?
Well, I guess it comes from the very first concert that I had ever went to, which was Kiss. And, once you see that, and then you go, and then you think every band's like that, and then you go to the next concert, and there's five guys just standing there, you go, what happened to the show? Where's the movement? Where's the fun? Where's this? So I knew, like I was ruined by Kiss, seeing the big show, the very first concert I had ever seen. So I knew that if I ever did this, I wanted to do that. So, we had formed a few bands early on before Lizzy Borden played throughout Hollywood and all that stuff. But, trying to form, tell these other guitar players and whatever, this is what we should be doing this. It just comes from outer space. So I had to just kind of create the thing and kind of work the thing, and then bring musicians in, saying, okay, we got to find the right guys who fit into this right at the get-go. And that's kind of how it began. We looked for people who were interested in theatrical rock and whatever we wanted to do. And at that time, there wasn't that many. At that time, Alice Cooper had been retired for 5 years, and Kiss, I didn't even know what they were doing at that moment in time. But there wasn't a lot of theatrics going on. I know Wasp started like a month or two before we did, and we all started the Troubadour, and slowly more and more theatrics started coming into play in that whole scene.
That's a great scene, dude. I was there with you in a way. I'm fortunate to be on an album with you. Do you remember Metal Massacre 4?
I do. That was our first appearance on vinyl. It was the first thing that we ever did, and I came into a record store because I had heard that there was a guy that loved this music, and he had a label, and it was Brian Slagle. And I brought 4 songs in, and he played it right there in the record store in front of everybody. And then he came back and he goes, one of these songs will be on the next Metal Massacre. And I went, okay. And I really didn't even know what the Metal Massacres were at the time, to tell you the truth. But I knew that we were going to make a record, and that's all I cared about.
Awesome. And that song was Rod of Iron. And it's a pretty hot song, dude. I remember it well.
We still play all or at least a piece of it in the show today, believe it or not.
Wow. That's amazing. You stayed with Metal Blade. Did you work with Bill too? Did you work with Bill Matoyer?
Actually, he's runs my studio in North Hollywood. He's still, he's still producing records. He's still going.
So then he's mixing the new Trouble then.
Probably. I mean, I don't know what he's doing
funny.
there.
That's weird. I had no idea that. That's a great answer.
He's a metal. He's metal through and through, and that's his. His whole. He's constantly working with somebody in there, and we did the first. We did a few things with him. I think we did give him the Axe EP, and then I think we did Terrorizing EP with him.
That's great. It's great to talk with you because we talked a little bit with Betsy Bitch, and kind of the same feel. Almost feels like I'm talking to a family member or something. The older, you guys have gone through more years with Metal Blade than, of course, our side of the family. But when we talk with you, there's some strange brotherhood going on there.
There's not many of us left from that era that are still going. I know, and we did a tour with Wasp, and they were great. I had never really, I saw them a couple times in the early days, but never really followed them that much. But on that tour, they were really good. And then, I've seen them since then, and I think they're better than ever. They're really, really entertaining now, and really fun. So there's a few bands who actually blossomed. I think we have too. I think we're way better than we ever were in the 80s, just because of we took all the good stuff and left all the bad stuff and honed it out until it was exactly a full force entertaining thing that works. It's universal. We take this show to Japan. We take it to all over Europe. We're about to do a whole bunch of different things after this tour in Europe. And it works all over the world. So it's one of those things that you don't even have to know a Lizzy Borden song to be entertained by the show.
Totally. We were looking at some clips last night, and we're just like, holy shit. Some amazing stuff going on there. 7 studio LPs. Is any your favorite? Or favorite songs that you like to do live out of the whole show? What is there a favorite, or is it... What's your spiel there?
It changes, but I think as far as vocally, I think my best performances vocally have been the last 2 records, Appointment with Death and Deal with the Devil. I mean, that's where I really I felt the most comfortable singing. I was able to do, all the harmonies that I'm known for. So those are probably my best vocal performances. But I love Master of Disguise because it was the first time I stretched. I went beyond what I thought I could do and further. I did. There was seven octaves on every track that I was just going crazy on, and I had never stretched that far before. So it was one of those breakthrough things for me. And so that record is really stand out for me. But I like. There's something I like about them all, actually.
Okay, we come to a humorous section here. I've done a lot of different things, and what we're going to do with you is just do a thing with just word association. What comes to your lips when I say Alice?
It would have to be Cooper. I mean, he's definitely an influence, and I've met him a few times. We've played some shows with him. He's a great guy, great outlook on entertaining, and he's definitely one of the inventors of theatrical rock.
What comes to your lips when I say this word, ultra?
Violence.
I got ya. I was kind of hoping you would say that.
For the first time in a long time, most of that song is in the set. So we haven't played that song in a long time. So it's it could venture out. We've got a part of the show where we'll be tweeting during the day, and we'll say, which song out of these 5 do you want? So whatever would they pick, that'll go in that slot of the show.
Are you serious? You tweet the audience while you're up there?
No, not.
I thought that was like fucking talk about requests. Any request, please tweet us now.
No, it'll be right before the show.
Oh, that's cool.
There's like 4 or 5 songs that we're going to switch out throughout the thing. We've never really done that before, so we're kind of getting involved in the full interaction of the crowd and everything, and wherever we're playing. And in certain markets, there's certain markets who like the older stuff, and there's certain markets that like the newer stuff. So that's why we kind of decided to do that and say, okay, wherever we are, let's give them the option of of playing an older song or playing a newer song or playing one of them in the middle, you know.
Well, yeah, that is a given for people playing for 28 years in the metal industry. You know, you're going to have the old fans, you're going to have the middle, or all of it, or the newer albums. It's weird. Yeah. All right, what's the first thing that comes to your lips when I say blood?
There's so many things. For me, it's probably "There Will Be Blood Tonight." You know, that's such a song that I had no idea was going to be such a fan favorite. Never in a million years. We've played a lot. I mean, I've written a lot of fast songs, and but for some reason that became such a huge fan favorite, especially in Europe. That before we put it in the show, we take it out of the show, whatever. But all of a sudden, it just kind of exploded, and it's one of those songs that we have to play now. It's pretty much next to Me Against the World, as in the fact that we have to play it. So I never would have expected that song to be that way, but for some reason it taps into something, and it's a great theatrical part of the show as well.
Awesome. That's like your total swan song. Then your branding. That's killer. All right. What's the first thing that comes to your lips when I say Betsy?
Betsy bitch. Yeah, she was. She actually their band started before we did, and she was doing theatrics. I know she was influenced by Alice, and she was doing theatrics early on. She was doing like a sadomasochism type show live on stage, and so they were. I think they started like in '81 or something. And they were early pioneers of the '80s metal scene in Hollywood.
And you as well, man, among many others. And then lastly, Brian. What comes to your lips when I say Brian?
Brian Slagel. He's had his finger in the pie of every part of so many different things, from Metallica to Slayer to all these different types of bands, and Metal Blade is bigger than ever now. They're stronger than ever, and they're really trying to cater to whatever's happening next, which is the ideal thing for a label. You're trying to find out who's going to be the new Metallica. And they're searching high and low for that, and we've been on the label from the very beginning, so it's been a pretty wild ride so far.
That's awesome. And then two more things. This one is, have you your birth name? Can we ask you your birth name, or have you changed your name? Do you carry the same last name as your brother Joey? Right? I mean, what?
Lizzy Borden is legal because I've used it for so long.
Is it on your license?
It's on my license. It's on cards. It's on everything. But it's as soon as I've been Lizzy Borden longer than I've been anything else. So that's, once you've done that, that's it.
That is killer. That is absolutely amazing. Okay, lastly, this is kind of our last thing that I do with all artists. What would you like to say to the internet Metal Messiah listeners out there? This is an internet radio station, so it's everywhere. What would you like to say to all the listeners?
First thing is, I just hope everyone comes out to all the shows on the Summer of Blood tour. If we're in your area, come out. You won't be disappointed. It's a great show. We've been playing for 28 years touring, but this show is a different show. It's a whole different. It's a special show. It's one that I stand behind wholeheartedly as far as entertainment and fun. And you never know when we're coming back. It could be 5 years from now. It could be 2 months from now. We don't know. We know we are doing really well in Europe, and we've been really concentrating on Europe for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. And that's really where but we don't want to turn our back on the United States, because that's where we're from and that's where we started, but we want to keep playing. So we want people to come out and come out for each show, and if it's really a huge success, then I'm quite sure we'll be right back with something else in a whole new show and a whole new thing. So I hope everyone comes out to all the shows, and as far as the listeners that are listening in Europe, we're going to announce something really special very soon for November, December. We've already sealed the deal on a couple things, and more in the making in the next couple of days. So there's some interesting things happening for us in Europe in November, December. But hope everyone comes out to the Summer of Blood tour. It's going to be an amazing show. It's the best show we've ever done. So if you've ever wanted to see Lizzy Borden and never have, this is the time to do it.
Excellent, Lizzy. That is just, what a great interview. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Keep in touch.
Thank you so much for all the help promoting. We really appreciate it. And absolutely, yeah. We'll send everything we whatever we're doing next. Like I said, this winter thing.
That sounds great.
But thank you so much, man.
Same here, man. Have a good night.
Good talking to you.
All right, you too. Bye.